This is a video I've wanted to make for a long time. I've talked a lot about technology on TNT, and I've shared a lot about my enthusiasm for technology with you guys in the past in other videos, but this is a video strictly dedicated to what I use to create the content that you see on the channel. You might notice that I'm using a different microphone. I'll get to that in a little bit. But for those of you that don't know, I've been using a pretty standard set of hardware for several years now. I've been using an Elgato Stream Deck, a cloud lifter, a Focusrite interface, and a Shure SM7B microphone, which I'm not using for today's recording. So when AVermedia approached me about reviewing the Streamer Nexus and this microphone, the Streamer Microphone 330, I was pretty excited. It's been a long time since I've made any updates to my kit, and the Streamer Nexus promised to replace all the things I was previously using except for the microphone. I'll explain that in a little bit, but it supposedly would be able to remove the Stream Deck from my setup, the Focusrite, and the Cloud Lifter, all of which are very expensive, very complicated pieces of technology, but all of which are integral. So the idea of removing all of those and having just a single point of contact for all the things I do on TNT, which includes shifting scenes, moving things around, running the credits, those types of things. TNT is a pretty complicated show, and to have one piece of hardware to manage instead of four was definitely an exciting proposition. With that said, I've been testing out the Streamer Nexus for the last month, and I have some thoughts on things I love, things I don't love, and everything in between. So let's get to talking about it. I thought the best way to do this would be to just capture a raw video, my raw reactions. So what you're hearing here is live audio directed through the Streamer Nexus with zero post-processing, zero editing. Of course, this is all coming through the mic. So this is AVermedia's Streamer 330 microphone. I really enjoy the sound of it, and if you're an eagle-eyed fan of GVG, you might have seen this before on my bathtub stream. This is the mic that I took with me into the bathtub on that infamous day because I really wanted to see if this could hold up in the most adverse conditions for audio quality, right? Being in a bathroom, an echoey bathroom, is one of the worst places you could possibly create content from, and this held up beautifully. This mic actually handled the situation perfectly. It was an ideal situation for me because, again, I did not want to take my Shure SM7B off of its desk mount to just for a bathroom stream or a bathtub stream. And I found that I got compliments on just how good this sounded. I went back and listened to that episode, and indeed, it was every bit as clean for me as the Shure SM7B was in practice. I used the Streamer Nexus to keep an eye on things. I'll talk more about the features of that in just a moment here. But what I really want to point out is that this does actually have the capability of replacing all of those tools. I haven't quite got there yet for reasons I'll discuss in a moment, but let's talk about the Streamer Nexus. For those of you that aren't aware, the Streamer Nexus is kind of one part audio interface, one part Stream Deck, and one part just overall volume manager. So if you don't know what a Stream Deck is, it's kind of a macro pad created by Elgato with a lot of functions for you to switch scenes in OBS, move things around, turn lights on and off. It has a lot of versatility, a lot of function that you could use to make your streams that much better, to automate things behind the scenes. It's how I run the credits. It's how I switch from story to story. It's how I move people in and out of the show. It is an immensely helpful tool. So with that being said, why would I replace it? The reason being is that most of that functionality is replicated on the AVermedia Streamer Nexus. Instead of buttons, fixed buttons, you get a touchscreen that you can customize to your liking, meaning you can move widgets in and out using the included AVermedia Nexus software, and there are some things I like about that and some limitations. So let's start with the things that I like. The positives are that if you've ever used like an old smartphone, then you know that having a fixed interface can make things a little less versatile, meaning that you can't display things exactly the way you'd like to. With the Streamer Nexus, however, you have a full 5-inch touchscreen that enables you to put widgets on there. So as opposed to just having macro buttons that do things like switching scenes, moving stuff around, things like that. You can also have information displayed on the screen. For instance, for the last month that I've been testing out the live Streamer Nexus, I've had our YouTube chat up on that smaller screen, meaning that instead of having a second browser window open right here, I can actually just look down at my live Streamer Nexus and see what's going on in chat. I can also get sub counts, which for me aren't super important, but if you're on the Twitch side of things, that could be very valuable. And I also have a listing of scenes, so I can switch to and from news stories as well as coming back to us so that you can see our reactions to those stories. It makes my job a lot easier. And I have a feeling that if you're just getting started out in streaming, or if you've been there for a while, the live Streamer Nexus could possibly benefit your setup, especially if you don't yet have a Stream Deck, or if you're looking to make the jump from a USB microphone to a higher-end XLR microphone. Now, let's talk about the software design, because that's where we're going to have a couple of caveats here. So one of the big things about the Stream Deck is that I can use macro functions, meaning that I can assign one button to do several things in order. For instance, for our credit sequence, I switch the scene, I wait 30 seconds, I display the credits, I wait another 20 seconds, I display the second set of credits, and then I move us back. Or when the show ends, I have it switch the scene, play music, hold on for 20 seconds, end the stream, and then reset all of the things that I've hidden or shown over the course of the show so that they're ready for the next episode the following night. That, unfortunately, is not yet available on the AVermedia side of things, which means that though this is a solid piece of hardware and one that I enjoy very much, it is not yet a full Stream Deck replacement. I've been told by AVermedia that macro functionality is coming in August, which hopefully that holds true sometime during the summer here, because it really is the only reason that the Stream Deck is still on my desk. That being said, I do have some other kind of nitpicks with the hardware, if you will. So first off, on the back of the live Streamer Nexus, and hopefully this is showing on screen right now, the ports are recessed, and that's not a big deal because the live Streamer Nexus is something that you probably won't move around a ton, but the initial setup could be easier if they were just flush with the back of the device. Beyond that, though, and I think the thing that probably, and this might be unique to me, but the thing that annoys me the most is that AVermedia opted to go with a USB Type-B cable. If you're not familiar with USB Type-B, that is the type of cable that goes in the back of a printer. It's not a very modern standard, not something that a lot of folks are using, but if you haven't used it before, or if you're... it's going to be hard to find a cable if you lose the one that's included with your live Streamer Nexus. I would have much preferred that AVermedia went modern with this and chose a USB Type-C cable as opposed to a outdated standard, especially because right now if you own a Switch, a PlayStation 5, an Xbox Series X, or even a modern PC, you probably have tons of USB Type-C cables floating around your house like I do, and it would have been nice to see that incorporated into the design of this product. But ultimately, again, it's something you plug in and you forget about. But if you do need to buy a new cable, you're going to have a much harder time finding it than if they had used a more modern standard. Aside from that, though, there are a few things. Let's talk about the front of the device before we go further. So I mentioned there's a 5-inch touchscreen, but that's not all there is on the device. There's also these 4 programmable buttons to the side. These are physical buttons. They're huge, so they're easy to find if you're not looking. I'm actually touching them right now off screen. And they provide a very satisfying tactile quality to them. Pushing them down gives a firm press and a click so you know what you've hit. And they can be mapped to just about anything. They can be mapped to open websites, switch scenes, start recording, start streaming, any number of things within the AVermedia Nexus software, save for actual widgets. Like I said, obviously these are buttons that can't display information. So if you can't map, say, your subscriber count or your YouTube chat, though you could, in theory, map a URL for your YouTube or Twitch chat to that button and have it pop up a window on command. That's definitely one use for it. I'm just going to come out and say it. I like these buttons. I like how they feel. I think they're well-designed buttons. However, I would have much preferred to gain that extra space for a bigger touchscreen, possibly a 7 or an 8-inch touchscreen, so that I would be able to have even more information at my fingertips. I think the touchscreen is really the selling point of the live Streamer Nexus. Down below all of this information, you have a number of volume inputs. So they're knobs. They're very clicky. Again, very tactile. It is really great for being able to adjust these without having to actually look down at them. So you have your mic, your line in, your console, your system, your game, and your chat. And these are all different inputs that you can control the volume for individually. This is really a podcaster's best friend. It gives you the ability to manage audio at a very granular level. You can also apply EQ to each of these through the software. I didn't feel the need to do this for today's News Tonight or for any of the other content that I've produced using this device so far. But it is nice to know that it's there and available if you need it. The device is overall very attractive. The design is nice. There's an RGB strip along the bottom that gives it some nice illumination, especially if you're working in a dark setting, makes it easier to look at. And one of the things that I actually did not think I would enjoy, that I actually do, is the fact that there is an external power switch to this thing, meaning that when I'm done with it, I can just turn it off. It does not stay illuminated on my desk, staring back at me. I thought that was kind of superfluous at the beginning, but now that I've used the device for about a month, I feel like it is very nice and very useful. Another thing I enjoy is that I can have multiple profiles across the touchscreen for 5 in total, so you can essentially have 5 screens worth of information at your fingertips as you record or stream. It's very useful to me to have one that is just dedicated to my scenes and a second screen that is dedicated to keeping up on chat, making sure that everything is running smoothly in the back end. So having that YouTube information is very helpful. So where do I stand on this product right now? I think it is an excellent audio interface. I do think as a replacement for my Focusrite and my Cloud Lifter, it absolutely succeeds at that and gives me something that can drive even my most hungry microphone, being the Shure SM7B, with little to no issue. And it is simpler to use. It's not nearly as intrusive as those two devices. The Cloud Lifter really sits in the background, but I do like having fewer devices along the chain that I have to hook up. That keeps my desk less cluttered, and it gives me the ability to just kind of plug and play this thing and forget that I'm using it, which is honestly probably the way I'd like audio interfaces to work. The Stream Deck functionality is almost all the way there. As soon as we get macro functionality, I will probably be able to bid my Stream Deck adieu and just have one device that manages my stream top to bottom. And because of that reason, I have a hard time not recommending this to folks. I would say, however, wait until the software update comes out with macro functionality. If you're just getting into streaming and you're looking for a place to start, the AVermedia Live Streamer Nexus is absolutely worth a look. This microphone, as if this sounds good to you, I have done literally nothing to it. So the audio is just what it is. I'm in a big open space. This is my bedroom where I normally record from. If I was using a lower quality microphone, like say an AT2020 USB, you would absolutely pick up room noise, echoes. You'd probably be able to hear my children who are playing downstairs right now as I record this with their mom. But because of the quality of this mic, it's rejecting all of that. One thing I will say, and you've probably heard it throughout this video, get a pop filter for this. There is a built-in pop filter. It does a fairly decent job, but you can probably hear my plosives like popping through this. And I intentionally did not include one of these foam windscreens on the top of this because I wanted you to hear what the microphone sounds like the way it comes out of the package. I do think it is a remarkably good, remarkably clean microphone for a very low price. I believe this is $149.99, and I think that is a pretty damn good deal. So if you're going to pick up one of these, get a pop filter for it. You'll thank me later. But I absolutely would say on the Live Streamer Nexus, it is a great device, worth your attention, but keep your eyes on the software updates. I think that if you're like me and you're running a very complicated stream day to day, then you may want to wait for that macro functionality. However, if you're running a basic Twitch stream where you just switch scene to scene, game to game, this has all the functionality you need to get started and get off and running with it. This is a piece of hardware that I have fallen in love with over the last month and will soon be the only thing on my desk as I run streams that are pretty complex in nature. So With that, that's my first look at the AVermedia live streamer Nexus. I hope you enjoyed this. This is kind of a new thing for me. I'm trying to talk about technology more on the channel. I'll be sharing my thoughts on webcams, capture cards, and everything you would need to get started making content like this. Let me know what you think of it in the comments down below. Let me know if you have any questions about the live streamer Nexus. And thanks to AVermedia for sending these pieces of hardware over for me to check out. It's been a thrill to be able to work with them and to be able to try out these devices. And I hope I can talk to you more about how to up your streaming or podcasting game here on GVG in the future. Thanks as always. Remember, we are completely Patreon funded. So if you want to check us out, head on over to patreon.com/gvgaming, where you can find out more about video games, which is what we mainly talk about, and the tech behind them. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.